It's the Infinite Podcast. Go tell your friends. It's the Infinite Podcast. My God, it never ends. It's the Infinite Podcast with Rob and Cork the Kid.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite Podcast, the podcast covering the infinite and ever-expanding multiverse of fandom from movies, comics, TV shows, video games. We got you covered. I'm Rob. I'm here, as always, McCourt. How's it going, man?
It's a me.
Oh, you did the accent. Oh, man. Mario.
It was fun.
It was fun, yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie, the long-awaited animated feature from Illumination paired with Nintendo. Man, it was quite an experience.
Yeah, if you're asking yourself if they did the Mario, they did the Mario.
They did the Mario and then some. So we're going to talk about that. Definitely have some thoughts. Definitely kind of in a boom of sorts of video game adaptations of this is the cool thing about gaming, right? Is you get all sorts of tones and stories and everything. I mean, you can't even compare this to The Last of Us.
Yep.
It's two totally different things.
You can't compare it to The Last of Us.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a story about brothers fighting one another.
Yep.
So
and brothers that would fight for each other no matter what.
Yeah. So in a way, it is The Last of Us. But before that, we do have some news. Not a ton of news, but big news, if not a ton of news. So there was a Star Wars kind of convention going on, and
the Star Wars celebration,
and they just can't stop themselves to
celebrating
to just one day a year now, which is when we've become accustomed to getting Star Wars stuff.
Well, it's all like a lead up into May 4th, right?
Yeah, but what else could they have up their sleeves besides everything that they announced this past week?
The Darth Vader show.
So we got a bunch of news. So I'm just gonna start up top with the Ahsoka trailer. So Rosario Dawson returning, obviously, as Ahsoka Tano, and it is basically gonna be the continuation of her Rebel story, searching for Ezra, searching for Grand Admiral Thrawn. All your favorites are back,
except Kanan Jarrus. R.I.P.
Yeah. But yeah, in live action, basically, this is the realization of live action.
You're telling me the one time they do live action, Freddie Prinze Jr. couldn't be there? Everybody else is going to be there, but Freddie Prinze Jr. couldn't be there.
So yeah, we got a good look at Sabine Wren. We got a backhead shot of Grand Admiral Thrawn, who we later found out will be reprised. The role will be reprised by one of the Mikkelsen. Lars Mikkelsen. I couldn't remember which one he was.
But this trailer was awesome. It was, that feeling you get from Star Wars. I think Star Wars has a very specific feeling that you get when it's right, and I think Andor had that. I mean, obviously the original trilogy had that. There are some good moments in the sequel trilogy, whether you believe it or not, that gave you that feeling. But this very much so gave you that feeling, that mystery, that wonder that you.
I think the Mandalorian season 1 gave you that.
Yeah, yep. It's something that's new. It's it's a new thing to kind of you're going out on this adventure, just how Luke went out on that adventure the first time in 1977. Now we're all the way in 2023, and it's so great you get that type of feeling. But this trailer hit a lot of beats. I mean, you could just tell the scope. The scope is huge. You can tell how large and massive that this world is. And, now Ahsoka's stepping into the light. Obviously, she got her, not side character going, but kind of, just the intrigue of, those who don't know who is this. And then those who do know, like, one of their favorite characters is coming back and, going to get the payoff that she deserves, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is easily the most popular character outside of the main Star Wars saga, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
I don't even think it's really that close. No. It's Ahsoka Tano. She's been kind of just in the zeitgeist of Star Wars fans for years, ever since her first appearance in the Clone Wars. Right. So, it's cool that this is the cool thing about the age that we exist in, is we're able to see these things getting fully realized in live action, and I have no doubt that this is going to be kind of really, really high quality stuff, because this is a character that, you know, Dave Filoni obviously cares a ton about.
Right.
This is his deal, so I expect this is going to be really the works. I expect kind of quality wise, I expect it to be on that like Andor plane. Like, it feels like this is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the cross between, you know, the bigger implications of, you know, human nature and like the realism that Andor took place, and, you know, the surrealism of Star Wars itself, and, you know, why we all fell in love with it one way or another. I think this show's going to hit all those beats. And, you know, we talk about the creators being there for things, and, you know, how quality usually ensues when the creator of the thing is here, and I think that follows Dave Filoni. I mean, the Jedi episode, or the episode of The Mandalorian titled The Jedi, you know, the live action debut of Ahsoka Tano, is like one of the most revered episodes of that show and of the Star Wars property, period. So I'm glad Rosario Dawson's kind of getting this chance, and I'm in. Like, I'm all in on this. And then that leads us into, I guess we could just maybe jump around a little bit, because we could just lead directly into the movies. The movies are back. If you didn't think they were making more Star Wars movies, you're crazy. So the first one we'll talk about is going to be Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie. So it's going to be the culmination of all the High Republic things that were going on around the galaxy after Episode 6, in between 6 and 7. So I'm assuming this is going to be Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson are going to be the main characters of this, and then Thrawn is going to be your big bad. I think that's what this is all gearing up to be. Yeah,
it's going to be, I guess they kind of pitched it as like the conclusion of the Disney Plus saga.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it feels like.
You know, Boba Fett, The Mandalorian, and Ahsoka basically are going to be kind of a triumvirate of, I guess, kind of converging pathways, I guess. This feels like a lot. It feels like very Marvel-ish.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how this is gonna work, to be honest with you. Like, it kind of rebukes the premise of specifically The Mandalorian in the first place. Like, The Mandalorian was designed to be this kind of detached, isolated space western story, and I mean, obviously season 2 kind of deviated from that and started to show that this character and the story was gonna merge with kind of the main Star Wars stuff, and then I mean, season 3 has tripled down on that idea. So I'm not surprised. I'm a little surprised that it's kind of culminating in a film.
Yeah, it just feels it feels a little like. It feels almost like not Dave's plan. I could be completely reading it wrong, but it feels like they were like, all right, we need to end this. And like, are you going to do all this in a show? Like, how are you going to justify like a show? Because what are they going to call this? Star Wars High Republic? What are they going to call this thing?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Return of the Thrawn. I don't know what they're going to call this thing, but presumably it's going to be like Ezra is going to be a main character in this. Ahsoka, Din Djarin, like all of them are going to kind of, Boba Fett's going to be there. I mean, I'll keep my hope alive that, like, you know, if this thing with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Survivor keeps going and keeps picking up steam, like, could see a Cal Kestis pop up in something like this. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case too, but it does genuinely feel like it's going to be all of them against Thrawn. And that, honestly, that would be a pretty good way to, like, end Cal's character, if you think about it, because, like, he's doing this freedom fighting thing, but he hasn't, I guess, obviously we haven't played the second one yet, but he hasn't had, like, you know, the direct punch. Like, Luke gets there, and then, like, once you get to episode 6, like, he has the direct punch he has to throw. Like, obviously everywhere it's been, but, like, Cal's been more of, like, a, you know, freedom fighting type of thing. Like, he hasn't had the direct threat to go against, so I think he would be, like, another Jedi to throw in there with Ahsoka, too. I think that would be interesting. And I have some other things, but we'll get to that. We'll get to it, so. What else?
So, yeah, I guess just kind of moving through these films. So, James Mangold,
the GOAT.
Yeah, who's picking up a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, he's writing the Swamp Thing film for DC.
Probably gonna direct it. I wouldn't see anybody directing a movie or that he wrote. So
yeah, and now he's directly attached to direct a Star Wars project that's going to be set in the distant past of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
25,000 years.
Yeah, the dawn of the Jedi Order, and it's definitely like we talked about before with Star Wars. This is kind of territory that we prefer them to explore. is this kind of High Republic era, like Dawn of the Jedi stuff, like stuff that hasn't been touched before in TV or movies. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, you give me James Mangold, that's my first. I'm in. Like, that's the first.
And Indiana Jones, obviously,
right? Yeah,
he's
like
doing too.
That's the first price of admission, is telling me that he's gonna do a Star Wars thing. I'm in. I'm already in, and obviously it feels like his relationship with Lucasfilm is really strong, which is awesome. So yeah. You got that, and then you give me the Birth of the Jedi. So I'm assuming we're going to see Octo in this movie. I'm assuming Ilum's going to be a big place that they're going to have to go to in this movie. But I think of this might be like almost this spiritual kind of odyssey. I think that'll be a cool way to go about it. I wonder. I'm going to guarantee you they're going to get like a bigger name actor to be the main character, and I do think it's going to fit in James Mangold's mold, which is not just these straight up like superhero movies, or like he's got a lot more subtlety to him, and I think this movie could like, you know, land a little bit tonally darker, and not darker, but like a little tonally more serious, and like a really nice like religion-esque piece of the Jedi. I think that's what they might try to go for.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's definitely the direction it could go. Kind of like discovering the Jedi Order, establishing it, and it's going to be like a spiritual awakening kind of film. So that's really cool. It was definitely
They should get the guy that played James in The Last of Us, or not James, David.
Troy Baker.
No, yeah. Oh my God, have Troy Baker be the first Jedi.
Oh man. But it was definitely probably
Yoda move.
The most unexpected thing that they announced for sure. And then the last film, which is Tough Day for the sequels aren't canon crowd.
Stop. Cut it out.
So Daisy Ridley is returning as Rey.
You surprised?
A little bit.
I'm not 100% surprised, but I'm also not like, I'm like, wow, like she actually can't, because, you know, we're going to talk about this with the Marvels trailer, I'm assuming, but like she got, you know, some of the most like, that makes you want to maybe crawl in a hole and never come out. I mean, we saw that with Ahmed Best, like almost take his life for
Kelly Marie Tran,
like the hate you receive for just playing a fictional character that doesn't affect your life in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's tough, and I'm glad she's back, and the sell must have been incredible for her to come back too, because, you know, a lot of other people would have said no, like Oscar Isaac, he's never touching Star Wars again. Like,
well,
yeah, John Boyega.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if John Boyega goes back. It's really, but it's also the team. The team's different, right? The Star Wars team is different now. So
team's totally different. And then for this film, we have Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, who directed a few episodes of Miss Marvel, is directing. Stephen Knight, who has written Peaky Blinders, is writing this. And then the tagline, the long line, is pretty interesting. It's set 15 years after Rise of Skywalker, with Rey kind of establishing or in the midst of establishing a new Jedi Order, which I think
that's the thing we talked about that we want. Like, if we're gonna do it, like, let's do it. Let's go on and let's get to the future and let's tell some new stories. Like, if Rey's there, amazing. And just, I feel like we need our age's Luke Skywalker, like, which was supposed to be Rey, but obviously those movies, I mean, the studio itself wasn't cohesive at the time to make those movies. They had no plan. Like, this is the time, like, new Jedi for, you know, kids to grow up with, like, a new fan base to have. Like, I think this is, and then you could still build out Rey's lore even more, and maybe try to forgive some of the things you did in those three movies.
Yeah, I mean,
man, I wish they didn't kill. I wish they didn't kill Adam Driver, because, like I said,
Adam Driver.
Yep, they were out to get him. Imagine Ben Solo. That would have been. It would have been like one of the most interesting character studies in Star Wars, of like the fact that this man was the most evil in the galaxy, but now he's trying to re-up himself as a Jedi Knight or Master. Like,
that's what tells me this was never planned.
Yeah.
Because I think if this were the plan,
you don't tell Adam Driver no. You get Adam Driver whatever.
The Rise of Skywalker probably ends differently.
Yeah. Maybe they should have just let, if they were gonna do it, they should have let JJ just direct all three movies.
Yeah. If this was ever in the cards, I don't think they would have killed Ben Solo at the end of this, at the end of Rise of Skywalker, because he would have slid in quite nicely into this storyline.
It would have been perfect. Like, you know, this new group, and then they learn that, like, who he is, and it's just like, we're good, actually. That was the man that committed multiple mass genocides.
Yeah.
It was Hux that did the genocides.
But no, I mean, overall, like, it was surprising to hear that she's coming back for at least one more movie. I don't know if it'll be another trilogy or whatever the case may be, but yeah, it's interesting, and I mean, good for her if she was persuaded enough by the pitch and the direction to accept this, because like you said, it's definitely not easy. I'm sure she had reservations.
Yep, sure.
About coming back. I mean, the reception has already been kind of lukewarm to it.
I see what you did there.
But I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I think that character has a lot of interesting kind of things going for her.
And now you can explore, and like it's the other side of the coin. Like, maybe you should have let Ryan just do because I think if you let Ryan do 9, then maybe you let him do, like, especially off the success of Knives Out, maybe you let him do 9, and then maybe he just does this movie and he keeps going, and you just keep that narrative going, like, with him.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an idea, but, you know, fresh start, I think that's the better thing. Fresh start, new Jedi, like, let's get, like, who's the threat gonna be? Like, we don't know yet. Like, I mean, obviously the First Order's they're not gone. Like, it's probably gonna feel a lot how the Mandalorian was. Like, you know, they're just training, and, like, what's the new threat gonna be? I think that's an interesting, but that's the good thing. Let's do something.
And I mean, 15 years on from when we last saw the character, you can sort of massage things and soft reboot a few things if you really want to. I think the time jump gives you enough leeway with that that you can kind of rewrite her history in a way if you want to go that direction.
Yeah, just say he lied. Just say. Well, I mean, you can't. Well, she did force lightning the cruiser, so that's tougher. But I mean, I would have just. I love the fact. Like, I would have loved if they kept the episode 8 thing. Like, she's just a person. Like, she was just always a person that was just. Like, Ahsoka was just a being out there, and then she turned out to be one of the best Jedi. Like, Obi-Wan, like, they don't come from these, like, insane, the only ones that come from the insane lineage is, like, the Skywalkers, like,
right.
I would have liked that so much better if she was, like, that's such a better theme, like, you're just Rey from Jeddah, or wherever she was from, Jakku, you're just Rey from Jakku, and, like, she turned out to be one of the greatest living Jedi.
Yeah. What else? So, the Bad Batch and Visions are getting another season each.
Yep.
The Bad Batch's 3rd season will be its final season.
Gonna probably throw some punches that season, I think.
Yeah.
Gonna maybe get some characters in there.
Yeah, I would say so.
Cal Kestis.
Makes sense. I don't think that show was ever designed to go for a long time. It was, again, just kind of an extension of the Clone Wars and Rebels and et cetera. So, and Visions was cool.
Pretty cool, yeah. And then Tales also got greenlit for season 2.
Yep.
And I mean, the Ahsoka piece of Tales was awesome. So keep going, keep doing those. I like those little anthology pieces and origin stories. Like, you got a lot more. I mean, I don't know if you take the swing to do an Obi-Wan like version of it, but I would love to see like a youngling version of Obi-Wan and kind of his trek throughout and like meeting Yoda and like all these things. So
yeah,
even if you do a Mace Windu one, like, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, and then it's funny you should mention Obi-Wan, because conspicuous by his absence was anything related to that character when the show ended on a kind of a cliffhanger kind of note with him reuniting with Qui-Gon.
Right.
So we don't know. We don't know what the case is with that. Skeleton Crew. So we talked about last week how David Lowery was joining the directorial cast, and now that directorial cast has been fully unveiled, I guess you could say. So a few of these names we already knew. So John Watts, David Lowery, Daniels, we all knew. Bryce Dallas Howard, will be doing an episode.
If you do a Star Wars thing, you best believe Bryce Dallas Howard is going to direct an episode.
Yep. Jack Schreier's on one, and Lee Isaac Chung, who has directed an episode of the season of The Mandalorian, and is now going to be directing an episode of Skeleton Crew also. So
that might be that. It was David Lowery was like my top pick, but also Lee Isaac Chung got me pretty excited. If you don't know, directed Minari, so I think I did say that was one of my favorite movies of 2021. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, this show is quickly ramping up to be pretty interesting. I mean, the whole sell is that Jude Law is quote unquote a Jedi. I have a theory that he's not really a Jedi. He's been a Sith this whole time, and he's just been lying to these kids.
That'd be cool.
That would be interesting. Yeah, and then
and didn't he just do that in Captain Marvel?
I mean, the crew weren't good people.
Yeah, but I agree. I think this is their MO now, is they get these directors to direct things, and
that's usually what you should do.
Yeah,
maybe get a director to direct it. Then.
Yeah, they assemble these kind of Avengers-esque director crews to do these episodes, which is pretty cool. I think that's it for the Star Wars stuff, right?
Yeah, just they did the final gameplay trailer for Jedi Survivor as well. I mean, probably my second most anticipated game for this year, right? And if Spider-Man 2 wasn't coming out this year, it would have been easily my number one most anticipated. So, I mean, I'm just enthralled by this story of Cal Kestis, and I want to see everything out of him, whether it be Give us more poncho. So Cameron Monaghan got on stage at Star Wars Celebration, and he took all your hate because everybody hated the ponchos from the game, and he's just like he wouldn't shut up about ponchos for 3 minutes, and it was the greatest thing I'd ever watched. So, but yeah, this game is going to be amazing. Like it comes out in 2 weeks. It's like we're almost ready. Time for this game. Any thoughts?
Nah, man. I think. Everything I've seen from this game, everything I've heard about it, it's just doing what all great sequels do, especially in the realm of gaming. It takes your foundation of what the game did in the first one and is just expanding upon it. More customization, more ways to engage with the combat, bigger worlds, more traversal options, companion type combat where you're gonna be able to fight with other characters and kind of do. I've seen gameplay with Marin, gameplay with the
Boda Kuna.
Yep.
And then Marin, Boda Kuna, and we don't know. There could be more.
Yeah, there could be more.
Could be Obi-Wan. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think I said this to you. I would just love if the end of the game comes and you fight Darth Vader again.
It's like, oh, crap.
And you get your ass kicked again. I think that would be really fun.
Can we stop?
Surrender the holocron. I don't have it.
No, I don't
have one this time.
I don't got no.
But yeah, it looks really great.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely I think the first one was very inspired by the Soulsborne games. And I think the second one, is gonna establish a little bit more of its own identity.
Yeah, the biggest review I give to that game was like, we hadn't had like a single player Star Wars game until, and like, in like, fandom, like, there's like a couple things that are top shelf. Being a Jedi is top shelf. So like, the fact that you get to play as, like, we hadn't had that in so long, like, it was the perfect win. Then you add on to that, you add on a good story. I mean, like, it was something that was super unexpected. Like, that story was incredible, like, the whole time. The themes in it, the way it looked, like, and then, the gameplay, like, for starting, like, this is the first game, and they made it very clear that they were going to work on it, too. Like, that's something that I really appreciate, is this team's very transparent about what they're doing. So, I'm really looking forward to the different, like, hilts that you're gonna have. Like, it's just, again, this is just understanding your fan base. It's understanding the fan base, and then you grow from there. I think that's a huge win for them.
And it's cool. Like, the first one kind of borrowed a lot of Souls-like elements, and then I mentioned the last time we talked about it that this one seems to be borrowing a little bit from Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, yep.
With the stance mechanic of different stances doing different things and being effective against different types of enemies. That's very in the vein of what Ghost of Tsushima did, and what makes Ghost of Tsushima one of the most fun to play games.
You're gonna make me play Ghost of Tsushima later
of this new generation. So super looking forward to that. And then
they should let Chris Stefanski do a Star Wars thing.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Get him in there. Let Joe Krasinski do something. John Krasinski. Yeah. Let John Krasinski do a Star Wars thing. Let them all do Star Wars things. You get one Star Wars thing. That's it.
And then honestly,
you throw a dart at a dartboard and you get a character, and like everybody, and like Luke's the center, so like everybody tries to get in the middle and nobody can hit it. And then like Quentin Tarantino walks in one day and just lands right on Darth Vader. He's just like, oh, this is gonna be great.
I can't wait.
This is where the fun begins.
He's retired though.
No, he's got one more in him.
He's gonna retire though.
No, and then he's gonna make a Star Wars movie.
Oh.
Him and Martin Scorsese are gonna make Star Wars projects. You heard it here first.
Okay.
And then Spike Lee too. It's gonna be crazy.
Speaking
with
of
Denzel starring in it, the Spike Lee one, it's gonna be crazy.
As a Jedi.
You must have never watched Training Day. I need my lightsaber, Jake. I need that holocron, Jake.
That's pretty good. That's a good bit.
Darth Vader ain't got nothing on me.
Alonzo as just
a Sith Lord.
Sith Lord.
Get that movie, man. Yeah, why does David Ayer so stressed out about Suicide Squad? The haircut. Nah, we need the Training Day, but Alonzo's a Sith Lord. It's a much better movie. That's why they don't let us make pitches in Hollywood anymore.
They don't. This is exactly why.
It would literally be Ready Player One if we were able to make pitches in Hollywood. It'd be crazy.
We got a Marvels trailer.
Yeah, we did. And guess what? It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it feels like this feels like a lot of reactionary maneuvering here.
100%.
On Marvel's part, they have completely flipped the tone and direction of Carol Danvers. It feels like, based on this trailer, it was very loud. It was very colorful. It was very musical. In a lot of ways that the first Captain Marvel trailer wasn't. And I'm super intrigued by this.
I am very intrigued. I think that's the perfect word. Like, I'm invested at this point now. I mean, you talk characters, Monica Rambeau, very interesting. We talked about this before. The most interesting piece for her is her relationship with Carol, because at this point she's got to like hate Carol right now, like, because she thinks she wasn't there to save anybody, and her mom's got like, you didn't come back, see your best friend one more time in this whole time. Like, that's kind of messed up. So yeah, I think they're gonna have, they're gonna butt heads a little bit, and then I mean the stealer of the show in this easily is gonna be Iman Vellani. I don't think there's any question behind that. We talked about how much we liked Miss Marvel, and it's gonna keep going. She's great. She's energetic. It's like, it's the perfect thing to put with Brie Larson right now. I feel like you need people to watch this movie. Get Iman Vellani with them, and then you get the seriousness of Monica Rambeau on top of it. Like, I think it's a match made in heaven. I think this was a good idea to get the three of them together in one project. Yeah,
and I mean, just the conceit of the movie is super interesting. Mm-hmm. Which, to be honest, you can't. We have this problem with, this is the struggle we have with Ant-Man. We're like, what's drawing me in besides Jonathan Majors, right? With this, the premise of the actual movie is intriguing to me. Yeah. This idea that anytime these three use their powers, they switch places with one or the other.
Now, you do need to be careful. Like, this could turn into like a lore issue, or a lore being plausible, or lore making sense. Like, that's the one thing I think they need to nail. Like, hey, what did I tell you before? Like, Kamala's got the bangle that came from the Kree, it seems, because where are they supposed to be? They're supposed to be the Negabands from the comics. So they do come from the Kree, but we don't know or from Quasar, but we don't know if that's going to be the actual case, because how did she get her powers unlocked in the first? Like, how do all these things have to do with one another? Like, that's what I'm getting a little nervous for. The other thing I'm also nervous for is the main villain of this movie. Like, I'm a little nervous it's going to be like a Ronin situation, or.
But we do have another accuser,
right? Yeah, there's a new accuser in town.
She's got the hammer.
You want me to put the hammer down? She's got it. She does have to say that. It's contractually obligated, but yeah, I'm a little nervous for the villain of this movie. It might not land, or it might just be like another throwaway villain.
It's possible, but you know what? I'm kind of on board for a throwaway villain, because I feel like these last couple movies that they've come out with, Black Panther aside, have been marketed upon like, look at this amazing actor we got to play the villain.
Yeah.
And you know what? I feel like we kind of need to be like, hey, come see this movie because of the heroes.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't mind it if it's kind of like not a forgettable villain, but just I kind of just want to see these three kind of go to work. Mm-hmm. Like, and I mean, the action in this trailer looked pretty
not
cool.
bad at all. Not bad at all.
I just like that this feels a little bit different.
It feels different. Like, it feels, I hate to say this, but it feels a little old school Marvel. Like, it felt, I got a little bit of that, like, I got it from the Guardians trailer heavy, but, like, I got the same thing for, like, this does feel a bit old school in the way that I used to, like, that you feel about these movies, so. And,
like, it's just, you know, I think the biggest problem that Ant-Man ran into, and it's a byproduct of using Kang, was, like, people were just so hyper-focused on the implications.
Right.
Whereas, like, watching this trailer, I didn't think about the implications.
I just thought it was cool to see the three of them, like...
Yeah, I just watched like, this is how you do a thing where you have multiple characters from multiple different things converging. Like, this just feels like a random issue of, like, a Captain Marvel comic. You know what I mean? Where, like, you're going to get Captain Marvel, you're going to get Photon, Spectrum, and you're going to get Ms. Marvel together. And they're going to do an adventure. I think that's cool. Right. I think that's ideally what you want from these Marvel projects at this point. And I think it's... I think Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness did it pretty well when it came to using Strange and Scarlet Witch. And I don't know what else did it really that well besides that.
I mean, the Captain America movies did that. I mean, specifically Winter Soldier does that pretty well.
Well, yeah.
Like, having an already established person, like, another hero in your movie, like, and then the two of them, and then Sam comes into play after that, like, having the three of them together.
Talking like the newer
age stuff.
Marvel ones. Right. Where it should be easier to do stuff like this.
Right. And I don't even think you can count Eternals in there, because that's much more difficult to pull off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the shows have tried to do it to varying degrees of success also. I think you could argue that Wong and She-Hulk is probably the best version
Wong,
of it.
She-Hulk, and Madison
is probably the best iteration of that, but I can say, you know, this trailer did its job. I think it got me much more interested in this movie than I already was. I mean, we're who we are. We're the people that we are. So, I mean, we were going to see this movie regardless. Yeah. But we go into these things with varying degrees of excitement or intrigue, and this trailer definitely got me more intrigued for this movie than I think I was before. Because before, I think, honestly, probably what got me originally kind of excited was the obviously Ms. Marvel got me excited, and then, you know, the Brie Larson mini cameo at the end of Ms. Marvel, like, I think we talked about it at the time, like, she just felt different. A little different than maybe it was like the redesign, which still looks great.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Did you see the second redesign with the big big? I like that a lot too.
That looks like Marvel's suit, like original recipe Marvel's suit. So
so I think, like I said, I think this is, as much as this is going to be the Monica and Kamala show, I think this is also going to serve as kind of like a mini reboot for the Carol Danvers character.
They're gonna Thor Ragnarok Captain Marvel. I think that's exactly what they're gonna do.
It feels that way, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I think there was a lot about that character that wasn't particularly done well.
You know what credit I'll give to them is that might have been one of the first cases in the MCU if they did the thing that we don't like now. Remember exactly what they did? Captain Marvel's coming. It was the only thing we heard, and then the thing happens, and you're just like, if it doesn't land 100%, then it's cheapened. And then they did it. That was like the first one that we're like, all right, she's coming. She's going to be the most powerful being. Like, that's not how you let her speak for herself, or you let them speak for themselves. That's how you're supposed to do it.
And it was just kind of an odd insertion at that point.
It's not like you know, the Fantastic Four, like, it was like Captain Marvel was coming, and it's just like...
And then they, like, had to tell her origin story.
You should have done that lifting before. The same thing with Black Widow. You should have done that lifting before.
Yeah, they had to do the first movie as a big prequel because they needed her ready for Endgame.
And then they had her in Endgame for 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Like... It's probably not how you should do it, but...
In the beginning, and then she was the Deus Ex Machina at the end of the movie.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that character getting a little bit more to do with her own story in the present day, kind of away from everything else. I think that's I mean, James Gunn kind of alluded to this with the Guardians. Like, he's like, I'm not concerned. This movie doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, it's just a Guardians movie. Like, don't expect any like major implications to what's going on in the MCU. Like, this is my thing, and I'm hoping that's what the Marvels is.
Me too.
Amon
Vellani, I can't stress enough of how much of a win her being there is.
Agreed.
She's
100%.
she's one of the best castings that they've got, and she might hold that on her shoulders for a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mario. Let's talk about it.
This is me.
As we talked about up top, this movie was much anticipated when it was announced. People were like, what is this? Chris Pratt?
People were mad out of the gate. And you know, full transparency too, and you can find the episode where it got announced. I don't think I was like over the moon about this. I was just like, all right, this is a thing. People are going to go watch it. It's for the... Can we get this out of the way? It's for everybody, but it's for the kiddos. I don't know if you guys realize, but it's for the kids.
Yeah, totally agreed. It got together an all-star voice cast, much to the chagrin of people. But look, at the end of the day, there's obviously, you know, professional voice actors who are very good at what they do, but voice actors don't sell movies at the end of the day. And I mean, to be fair, Chris Pratt in his own right is a very good voice actor. He was the star of the Lego movie.
Yeah, right. And people were, you know, ranting and raving about him then.
Keegan-Michael Key has a ton of voice acting credits. Seth Rogen has a ton of voice acting credits. Jack Black. So, and honestly, the one I was surprised by, who doesn't have a ton of voice acting credits and was a really great, strong voice presence, was Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach. She was really great. The person that probably took the marketing on her shoulders the most, she seemed to really enjoy it, and I think that's honestly the great thing, and why this movie worked for me was sometimes you can feel the cast kind of attached to a project or not attached in more negative cases. This cast felt very much engaged.
Especially Anya and Jack Black felt like just absolutely locked into this thing, which is awesome.
Yeah. So this movie was directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, who... You know, if anyone's familiar with their work, they were the co-creators of Teen Titans Go. So...
I forgot about that. That's another thing people were mad about out of the gate. This. Yeah.
And I mean, if you've ever seen Teen Titans Go, it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very...
And from what I've seen in the later seasons, like, they took the satire it was handled so much better in the later seasons of Teen Titans Go, just from, like, the clips you'll see on different social media. And I love the bit in Teen Titans Go where they drag Bruce into the alley and make his parents... It's insane that they pull that off.
These two also did the Teen Titans Go movie, obviously, where they do the crossover with the original Teen Titans. It's a lot of fun. If anyone's never seen that, the movie's a lot of fun. And this movie was also a lot of fun. So just off the rip, Rotten Tomatoes, obviously it's an aggregate, but again, we got away with it for 1 week with John Wick, where things were consistent across the board. And we're back to this movie again, back to the divisiveness.
I think that might be the status quo pretty much for all of these fandom movies going forward. It's like, it's got to be a really special project. Like, I think Across the Spider-Verse, I think is going to be like I think
Guardians too will probably...
I think Guardian, I'm going to call it now. Maybe you could find this clip and we'll post it to the beginning of the episode for Guardians 3, but I'm going to call Guardians 3 is going to get an 81%, but the audience score is going to be like a 94.
Yeah, that could be. But yeah, obviously critics It's floating around 57%. And then the audience score is at 96%.
Is it bad I haven't looked at any critical reviews because
I've seen a couple.
Because this is a Mario movie?
Just floating
It's
Twitter.
a plumber that's from Brooklyn?
Yeah, I've seen a couple floating on Twitter. Just, stuff that I've yet to read a review that I'm surprised by, because people write negative things about the movie. I'm I get why you reviewed this negatively, because you didn't understand the assignment, or you didn't want to understand the assignment.
I think that's more accurate. You didn't want to people also need to sell their quote unquote brand. So if you need to hate something, you need to hate it. So, or if you need to not like it, you need to not like it. But I think what we do is good, because Shazam, pleasantly I was, Shazam's not some A movie, but I was pleasantly surprised by some Shazam 2. It was pleasantly surprised by some bits.
Also number 3 right now on VOD streaming. Obviously, since the theatrical run went disastrously, it's already out on streaming and video on demand, and it's third on video on demand. So people are checking it out. Maybe it'll become kind of a
little cult classic.
Yeah, like a little
DCU cult classic.
Yeah, a little superhero cult classic. Because we both quite like Shazam. I
thought that movie was real fun.
Yeah, just
and what's his name was doing some acting in that movie. Mm-hmm. You saw it's floating around that he should play Superman.
Maybe I don't know. I think he's a little too
right. He's too young, but he's got the.
Just let him be Billy Batson. Just let him be Shazam.
Let him be Shazam.
Get rid of Zachary Levi.
And let him actually be Shazam?
Yeah.
What a crazy You're insane.
That would be really good,
I think. Be good. In the new DCEU, he's just Shazam. They should get another kid, and then he should be Shazam. And that's how they should pass the Shazam mantle for the rest of the time.
Because I just, we talked about it.
And then
we talked about that
Zachary Levi has to be the old guy in the movie that played the original Shazam. That's how it has to go.
Yeah, it was just, we talked about it when we talked about the movie. There was a weird disconnect there between what Zachary Levi doing and what Billy Batson was doing.
What's his name? I forget.
Asher Angel.
Yeah, Asher Angel I thought he was great in that movie.
For the 15 minutes he was in it.
He was not in that movie, and it's insane.
But talk about Mario, talk about the audience reception. It's very, very good. And how does the audience speak, Court? With their wallets.
With their wallets. And, all right, when did this movie come out?
This movie came out on last Thursday.
Last Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So we've been through a week of this movie, right?
Just about. Almost.
Right. So we went on the second Monday this movie was out. There was 30 people in the theater, 20 to 30 in the theater.
And it was, there was a ton of showings.
There was a ton of showings of this. This movie is built to make money. This
movie's built to make money.
This movie is an hour 30. So the kids can have and I know you're gonna talk about this. This movie's fast paced. This movie moves. This is the Usain Bolt of animated movies. So
it up to this point has hit $224 million domestically, another $200 million internationally. So worldwide, it's already at $420 million. It has yet to open in Japan. I don't know if you guys know this, but Nintendo's pretty popular in Japan.
What? That was a really good Carrie Fisher impression from A New Hope.
So this movie's gonna be a monster. It has already eclipsed Frozen 2 as the biggest animated opening of all time. Again, if you guys don't know this, Frozen's a pretty big deal.
It's what?
So if you could beat Frozen...
This character's back.
If you can beat Frozen in anything, you're tracking for a pretty monstrous performance. I would not be surprised if this movie hits $1 billion. Would not shock me one bit, because this movie, like you said, was built to make money. It just hits the touchstones, man. This is exactly what you want. It plays, it's the most popular video game character of all time.
Yeah.
That's not hyperbole. It's Mario. Everyone knows who Mario is. Everyone knows what the Super Mario Brothers are. This is a layup.
It's a layup, and then for them they also set themselves up for so much success in the if you thought those Minions or what was the original one, Despicable Me,
was the same studio, Illuminations,
right? So again, I don't know how these other studios weren't just killing each other to try to get the rights for this, because it's insane that Illumination is they're gonna dominate animation for a little bit. The only contenders they have is is Sony right now, and that's off one IP.
Yeah,
and they showed that little sizzle reel that Illumination had themselves before them. You know how much swag you gotta have.
I was like, what is this?
They were flexing. They were saying, "Look what we got in our bag."
Yeah, I think it just comes down to
what if ducks had emotions?
What if elements had emotions?
What if elements
That's
had
the Pixar
emotions?
one.
I know Pixar's punching air somewhere right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think it's just a matter of, like, these studios looked at a video game property and were like, ugh. Mm-hmm. Like, these don't make money. These don't work. These never work. You know why they don't work? Because the dang studios never just do the thing.
Dang, yeah. They want to get too cute, and they want to get too... They know better, I think is a good way to put it. Like,
yeah, like, we're going to make a film.
We're going to, like...
No.
Do the Mario Bros. And that's what Illumination did, and it works. It works so well for them.
Like we talked about up top, everyone's great in this, I think.
This is going to be one of my favorite category pick movies of all time that we've done.
Yeah, the cast was tremendous. Everyone put their own little spin on these characters. And, that's the other cool thing about Mario and Company is there's not a lot to the characters that, like, you have to be faithful to.
No.
Like, you don't have to act a certain way. You don't have to say certain things. Like, it's a woohoo! Yeah. That's about it. That's all you get. That's Mario's character development. Like, he doesn't do a lot of talking. I don't know if you guys have ever heard Mario, but he doesn't do a lot of talking. He's a lot of jumping and a lot of smashing things, a lot of shooting fireballs, a lot of eating mushrooms. That's about it. Some baseball. Plays baseball sometimes.
Plays baseball, yep.
Soccer. Tennis.
You're Mario from Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
We'll talk about Sonic a little bit later. I don't know. You got anything else to say before we jump into spoilers?
No, this movie...
It was fun.
I generally had some laughs. It was fun. It's great for the family to go see. Like, and it's like, there was people, like, there were the adults with the kids. Like, the adults had the Mario shirt on, and then you're like, that's the whole point. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, that's the point of these movies. They're not supposed to be critically rated, and, like, the pacing was... Like, no, who cares? It's a Mario movie. That's the whole point. Like, let's have some fun.
Yeah, this is,
do the things, have your small emotional beats that you hit at some points, have your message for the kids. Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
It has a very simple theme.
It's got a couple, and some characters have different, like, Luigi has a really good theme in there too. Mario has a really good, like, there you go.
Don't give up on your dreams.
Yeah, and not every villain needs to be Thanos when you can be the great Bowser. And guess what Bowser's whole motivation is? Wait. I actually take that back, because Bowser's exactly like comic Thanos. And you know what that is?
He's a simp lord?
He's a simp lord. That's exactly what he is.
A simp lord?
He's a simp lord.
Yeah, I mean, on the whole, like I said, I would 100% recommend this for anybody of any age to go see. It's a good, fun time. Yeah, let's talk about some spoilers.
So the Mario Bros. So Mario and Luigi, they live in Brooklyn. They live in Brooklyn.
Down on their luck plumbers.
Yeah, down on their luck plumbers. Just spent all their money on a local commercial.
They do the accents.
Not really. They just have Brooklyn. They just have New York accents. They don't have.
Well, they do the accents in the commercial.
Right, and then they stop and they're just like, all right, we're just gonna talk normal, and then at the end we're gonna be like whatever.
I think that's smart. I think that was 100%. I think that was totally smart to just hang a lantern on it and be like, we're not doing the accents the whole time, right? No, of course not.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
That'd be madness.
This is madness.
We do get a little, of course, we get a cameo from Charles Martinet, obviously, as Giuseppe. He does the woohoo! He does the original, that's the original Mario. Everyone was like, get him to do the voice. He did the voice.
Yeah.
He's just not Mario. Yeah, and then, it's hijinks ensue, right? Their whole mission, they save Brooklyn.
Save Brooklyn, yeah, and they're just like, hey, and you want to talk themes, like, the theme for Mario himself is that, like, he's a failure, like, people call him a failure, like, you're just a straight-up failure, and he's just like, what if I'm not?
His dad's you're dragging your brother down,
You're
Mario.
driving your brother down with you, and Luigi's just like, I'm Charlie Day. And Luigi's scared, I mean, yes, that's Luigi's scared, like, he's terrified of everything. But it's a good theme, because once you got they go to the Dominic Toretto School of Theming, your characters, your story, and if we're together, nothing can happen to us. And then Brooklyn just blows up. Doesn't blow up, but the
Plumbing
whole
problem.
Yeah, the biggest plumbing emergency in Brooklyn history happens. The whole city floods, and they're like, Mario's like, I know how to fix this. And they go down, and there's just this huge industrial part, and they're just like, where the heck is this? Like, this is just deep underground, and then there's just a little green tube, and then
You're the green tube from Super Mario Bros.
And then they get sucked into the tube, and then it's on.
Yeah, Luigi gets sent to the Dark Lands, and Mario gets sent to Mushroom Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
The movie does have a little bit of a cold open.
Oh, it's great.
Cold open.
Open the gates.
Bowser's dominating. He's taking over the world. He's starting with the penguins.
Yep.
The penguin people.
Yep. This is just a fraction of our might.
Yes, the penguins are very menacing. Mm-hmm. It's big Thanos attacking the Asgardians here. With Bowser and his minions. Obviously, all the greats are there.
Yep.
The Koopa Troopers are there. The Goombas are there. Mm-hmm. The Wizard's there.
Yep. And what's he after?
The superstar.
Superstar.
You're the superstar from Super Mario Bros.
You're the MacGuffin. The big MacGuffin of the movie is the superstar. So Bowser.
Of course, everyone knows what the superstar does.
For the first movie, that's perfect. First movie, do the superstar.
Makes you invincible.
Mm-hmm. So Bowser's just like, I'm gonna get the superstar, but am I gonna use it? No. I'm gonna show it to my girlfriend.
A simp lord, like we said.
So the whole conceit of this movie is Bowser is just in love with Peach. That's it. It's literally it. That's his whole character.
It explains a lot.
Yep.
From the games why he's always kidnapping her.
Right. He's just in love. That's it. So Bowser is just like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the Mushroom Kingdom. I'm gonna propose to Peach, and it's gonna be freaking awesome.
Yep.
Oh, we'll save it.
We'll save it.
We can't talk about it yet.
So Luigi's in the Darklands. He runs afoul of the skeleton Koopas. Mm-hmm. Hate those guys. Yeah. You break them apart, they put themselves back together.
Straight Spider-Man 3. I hate those things.
He stumbles into a castle, obviously an occupied castle, and it's occupied by none other than the Shy Guys. Oh. Love the Shy Guys. Yeah. Their creepy little masks. Mm-hmm. They're great.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
yep.
Mario gets there. He's just like, I gotta find my brother. And then who does he run into?
You're Toad from Super Mario Bros.
You're Toad, played by Keegan-Michael Key.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah. Great. He was great. He's, the theme for him is, like, doesn't matter how small you are, I'm always up for an adventure, and there's no fear, so.
Yeah.
He's great running around, leading. He's like the first person you meet in your story mode game. Like, you meet him, and you're like, all right, let's go on this adventure now, so.
Let's go talk to the princess.
So they get to Peach, and then Peach is just like, wait, you're Anya Taylor-Joy from the upcoming Furiosa movie.
Great character right away. She establishes dominance. Mm-hmm. She's very believable as the ruler of this kingdom. That
we find out why. So, I mean, she was probably just a little girl that it's actually really sad when you think about it. And I think they might explore it. Like, the way they do it in this is like, he gets, she's also a human because she beats Mario. Like, you're a human. Like, I'm also human. Not these toads that I rule. So yeah, you realize that she says, like, all I remember is, like, coming out of a tube and they took me in, and then when I was of age they made me their princess, and you realize she was just a little girl that probably got lost in Brooklyn and ended up in the tube and wherever and is now just the ruler of this kingdom and doesn't know, like, doesn't know humanity or anything like that. So,
and in the meanwhile, the Mushroom Kingdom just heaps of just references and things. They had the tubes. They went through the teleporting tubes that kind of just go spit you out in different places. They had the moving platforms. Yeah. I couldn't even begin to laundry list the Easter eggs.
I mean, even down from the beginning, like the beginning of the movie when they're in Brooklyn on their, like, first job, like, they spin the camera and then they do, like, the straight up, like,
the side scrolling
right
bit.
From left to right, like, if you didn't think we were gonna get this in this movie, and, like, the wherewithal to make sure, like, you get it right, they did a good job. I don't care what anybody says, they did it. They did exactly what they needed to do.
So Peach is like, I'm gonna go talk to the Jungle Kingdom.
Yeah, who's there? We don't know yet, but we'll find out. We're gonna go talk to the Kongs.
Yep, and you're like, ooh, I know that thing.
Did they just do the same scene from Black Panther?
He said, "Ooh, I understood that reference." And Mario's like, "I'm coming with you," and Peach is like, "Sure."
Yeah. But first, you gotta train. Oh, they should have done the Rocky thing then.
Yeah, and it's a do a Mario course.
Do a Mario. Go back to the very first game. Do the Mario course, and he just can't get it. It's
she
hilarious.
crushes it.
Yep. The licensed music in this movie is just insane.
And then he does it time and time again, and that's the Mario theme. Like he fails over and over, but he doesn't stop. He doesn't quit. And he just about gets it, and Peach is like, good enough. We get introduced to the mushroom, the power-ups. Obviously, he gets bigger, he gets stronger, he can jump higher. And then I love the fact that they're just like, Peach is just like, yeah, if you get hit, you lose it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's great.
Yep.
And then, so the movie just basically at this point volleys back and forth between what's going on with Luigi and Bowser and what's going on with Mario and Peach. So Luigi's captured, he's brought before Bowser, and he interrogates Luigi, and he's like, who is this?
Yeah.
Where's the Italian? He says. And I just love how his whole concern about Mario is like, is he
I love it so much.
is he a good guy? And Luigi's like, he's the best guy, actually.
And Bowser's like, ugh. That's it. That's literally Bowser's character. He just had like, you think Princess Peach was impressed when Mario did the course, and he's just like, I don't know. Like,
so he throws Luigi in prison.
If you didn't think these movies had big time lore, you were wrong.
Yeah, so he's in the lava prison, the penguins are there, and then we are hilariously introduced to the Luma, one of the Lumini stars from Super Mario Galaxy, is in this prison also as just this couldn't care less about life, just wants it to be over. This star. Just throwing the darkest quips in the cutest voice.
Oh my god.
It's a tremendous design choice by these folks. And Luigi's like, I'm gonna die here. Meanwhile, Mario and Peach are doing some bonding in a flower field. Flower field. So you see the fire flowers for the first time. Peach absorbs one, and she does it's the white and red gimmick. She can wield fire, and they're just chatting, and it's nice. It's a nice, touching moment between Mario and Peach, where he's kind of explaining to her like what Brooklyn is, and he's like, "I'll take you there sometimes," and he's like,
"Get you a turtle."
Yeah, turtles aren't evil where I come from.
Yeah.
She's like, "What?"
We keep them as pets, actually.
That's crazy. And then we get to the Kong Skull Island. Peach meets with Cranky Kong.
Yeah,
so Cranky Kong is in this. He's the ruler of the Kong people. They're monkeys. In case you didn't know.
Yep. And this is just it was the scene from Black Panther to a T.
They wield the greatest army in the world.
Yep.
And Peach is like, help me beat Bowser.
And he's just like, ugh.
He's like,
fine.
Yeah. He's like,
but you gotta beat my son first. Your Mario's gotta beat my son first.
Yeah. Well, Mario says like,
oh yeah.
He's like,
you're gonna give us the army.
Yeah. And Peach is like, this guy, look at this. And he's like, fine, I'll give you the army if you fight my son. And Peach is like, absolutely not.
Yep.
His son is the biggest, baddest gorilla ever. And Mario's like, you got a better idea? I'm gonna fight him.
Yep.
And lo and behold, you're Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong.
But not only are you Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong, you're Seth Rogen from Hollywood.
Yeah, so Seth Rogen voices Donkey Kong. He's a flamboyant showboat,
college frat boy-esque Donkey. I can't stress enough how perfect it is.
Yeah, he's throwing heaps of barrels, as you'd expect Donkey Kong to do, and we get a nice little throwback to the original kind of Donkey Kong, with Mario under the platforms, Donkey Kong throwing barrels at him, and again we get that motif of Mario not giving up. He gets pummeled by Donkey Kong, and doesn't give up. He gets the cat suit.
Yep.
And he
that is on. Yeah, he defeats Donkey Kong. And then
the rivalry is born.
Yeah, I love their relationship in this movie. Like they're just like it's like the old trope of like the reluctant allies for a little bit. It's great. They play it well.
Yeah, so the rivalry is born. The Mario Donkey Kong rivalry is born, and they have their army. Meanwhile, Bowser's like, I'm getting ready to propose.
Yeah, I'm getting. How would I propose? Through song.
Yes. So we get that. Of course, Jack Black's going to do a musical number.
The number one trending song right now. That it was the number one video on YouTube for hours.
Yeah.
I think until this morning, until the Marvels trailer came out.
Yeah.
Oh man, the song's been stuck in my head.
The Peaches.
Yeah.
Just Bowser just singing. He gets interrupted.
Yep.
He's furious.
And the wizard's just like they're gonna take a shortcut.
They're gonna do a Mario Kart.
Yeah,
he says.
Yep. And then Mario Kart, and then they throw Mario Kart. There's like litanies of Mario game. There's Super Mario Galaxy and Odyssey in here. There's Mario Kart. And they do everything in here.
Yeah, we do a Mario Kart.
Yep.
Basically, they build their carts just like you would in Mario
Thunderstruck.
Kart. The Thunderstruck. Peach gets the motorcycle. Mario gets the big go-kart with the M. Toad gets the giant truck.
Oh, it's great. And then he pulls up Mario on the side.
Donkey Kong gets the car with the rocket barrels. And then we hit Rainbow Road.
Yeah. Oh, my God. This movie, man. It hit all the beats.
It moves at a clip, man. It really does. Yeah, and then we get their big car sequence. This movie becomes Mad Max.
Yep. Yeah, it did become Mad. I told you that. I was just like, that was just Mad Max Fury Road.
We get the big Koopa with the big
chomping
car.
You're dead, Mario.
And then
I love when they get like low toned voice actors to do these like the I forgot who played the Toad King, but like he was great. Like, Princess Peach, how are we going to save the day? Like, after everybody was talking with the high voices, we must evacuate the village.
We're adorable.
We're adorable. We can't get killed.
And yeah, so Mario and Donkey Kong are run off the road. They crash into the water below. Peach and Toad escape back to Mushroom Kingdom, and they're like, we're in trouble.
We're doomed. We must evacuate.
Evacuate the city, engage.
That scene was horribly adorable because they're all running away and like they're trying to. They did all like the end of the world tropes. Leave it, leave it. We gotta go.
Evacuate the city, engage all defenses, and get this man a fire flower.
Get this man a fire flower. Get this man a power up. So yeah, Peach is just like, you know what? Let's face him. She just tells Toad, get out of here, and Toad's like, absolutely not. I'm not leaving you like this. Good job, Toad.
Yep. Bowser shows up and
shoots a shot.
Misses.
Yeah. Does he?
Yeah, he does. Because he.
What's the line? Say the line though.
I don't remember it.
It was the best line in the. I was gonna say this for now. I have to spoil what my favorite line is. It's when he tells her, you really know how to get a turtle out of his shell.
Oh, that's right. And then he's like, you told me that would work.
It's working, sir. Keep going.
He's like, you're doing great, boss. This movie is insane. She's, and then that doesn't work. She's like, get bent. Bowser, and he's like, all right, fine, well, now I'm gonna destroy your kingdom.
And she's like, wait, I'll marry you. Fine. God.
So yeah, he takes Peach. Classic Bowser taking Peach.
Yep.
Also, they did your princess is another castle bit in the beginning of the movie, which I really liked. And then Mario and Donkey Kong have to escape a fish. Now it's Moby Dick.
Yep.
Now it's Pinocchio.
Yeah, it is Pinocchio. Yeah, they finally put their differences aside for a second, and they escape. Yep, and the wedding's on. Big climactic third battle wedding.
Bowser's brought the prisoners.
It's the red wedding, but Mario.
He's brought the prisoners with him.
Yep.
As a beautiful sacrifice.
Yeah, gonna kill them all, and Luigi's like, oh no.
And the Luma's like, thank God.
And then, alright, so then Mario and Donkey Kong show up, and then they save them for that, and the Luma's like, ugh.
We got the King Bomb. King Bomb Mom is there.
Yep.
The King...
what's the ghost?
Boo?
Yeah, Boo. There you go.
Yeah. There's the Queen Queen Boo is there. The big ghost. I'm a little bummed we didn't get more of the Boos.
Yeah.
I like
they're
those.
saving it. They're saving it. There's 85 spin-offs from this that they're going to
Oh
get.
my goodness. And then we get to the altar and Peach is like, ha! You thought I would marry you?
Yeah, because right before Toad brings her a bouquet, and you find out the bouquet has a power-up, and it's the ice power-up.
Yeah, the Freezy Flower.
Yeah, Freezy Flower, just throwing heaps of ice at
She
everybody.
turns into Sub-Zero.
I was going to say she turned into Elsa, but that's better. You're Sub-Zero from the crossover we might do. That's the crossover I'm waiting for.
Mortal Kombat and Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Scorpion just rips Mario's spine out.
Or Mario rips Scorpion's spine out. You don't think Mario's got that dog in him? After this movie, he does.
Yeah, so Peach...
He's beating the brakes off of Bowser.
Peach does a Sub-Zero bit. She's throwing ice all over the place. And Bowser's like, "Ugh, my plan."
Yeah.
So he's breathing fire. Mario shows up.
Yeah, for the first time he sees Mario, and then Bowser's like, "Where's my autograph book?" So they Bowser's like, you know what, we're gonna box, but first I'm gonna destroy the Mushroom Kingdom because I'm so freaking upset. And
He launches a nuke.
Yeah, he does. This does turn into a third act, a big CGI third act. So he launches the nuke,
The giant bullet bill.
yeah, but it's the nuke bullet. It's the nuke software update.
The nuke-sized bullet bill.
Yeah, it's gonna destroy the whole Mushroom Kingdom, and then Mario's like, not on my watch. So-
Mario does the Spider-Man 3. I'm gonna throw some dirt in your eye. Bullet bill.
Yep. Gets it to go through the tube that leads right back to Brooklyn. And then Brooklyn just gets straight up nuked. It was crazy. Well, actually, the Mushroom Kingdom gets nuked, but then the feedback goes into Brooklyn. And then Brooklyn gets blown up, and it's craziness.
And everything from the Mushroom Kingdom.
Right.
Well, Bowser's castle, his floating fortress, ends up in Brooklyn.
Yep. And then it's on. Bowser's like, all right, where's the star? You done did it now, Mario. She doesn't want to marry me. Give me the star. I'm going to kill you now. Give me the star.
And then it's Bowser v. Mario.
Yeah, right. So they're obviously Mario again. He's getting beat up. He's getting hurt. And Bowser goes in for the death blow. And guess who's there to help him? Luigi throws down.
Well, Mario gets kind of like, he gets beat up and then he ends up in a restaurant.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
ends up in the restaurant.
Yeah, yep. And then he sees the
And
commercial.
he's like hiding. Like, he's like, I can't do this.
Yep.
Like, this guy's way too much for
Yep,
me.
and then Hawkeye walks in and gives him the pep talk. Like, if you can't go out there, you shouldn't be a super. He said, the city's flying, Bowser's castle's flying, and I have a power up, and I have a mushroom. None of this makes sense, but I go out there because I'm a Super Mario bro.
Yeah, he sees the commercial and he's like, we are the Super Mario Bros.
Yep.
And he goes back out there and Bowser's like,
Yeah.
I hate you, Mario. Goes for the big final flamethrower, and then Luigi steps in with the manhole cover, and he's like, "There's nothing we can't do if we're together."
Yep. So they get the star, and then it's straight up just it's such a good way to end this movie. They get powered up. They beat the brakes off of Bowser.
You know what the superstar does?
Yeah, it's great. It's the two of them just going to work. They have like 4 different hero shots of them punching and kicking Bowser. It's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. People clapped. It was nice.
People did clap.
And then, yeah, they defeat Bowser. They give Bowser the blue mushroom. And
They shrink him.
They shrink him, and then that's it.
That's it. And then we go back to them getting ready for their regular plumbing job. You think everything all's well that ends well, and then they open the door, and Mario and Luigi have taken up permanent residence in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yep.
So that's it. They've left the real world behind, and they have now firmly put themselves in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yep.
And that was the movie.
Good stuff.
It was fun.
Good stuff.
And then we got a couple post-credit scenes. Why did I not remember? Oh, the first one is Bowser singing again.
Yeah. Bowser he launches into the second part of the song.
And then they're like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Shut it.
You realize you zoom out and it's tiny Bowser. He's in a cage, and they're like, shut up. And then the second post-credit scene is so there was an egg offered up at Bowser's wedding, a green and white spotted egg, which everyone was like, whoop.
That's literally the same post-credit scene, in my opinion, as Winter Soldiers with the miracles. It's the same one.
And then so we go back to this egg in the post-credit scene. It cracks, and then it hatches off screen, and you hear the infamous Yoshi sound, and indicating that the green dinosaur is a coming in the next movie that we assume will be happening because this movie's going to make $1 quadrillion.
Exactly.
This movie was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
just talking through it again, it's fast.
I'm remembering like the musical beats that it was, and like it did all the and it's gonna be one of the questions. You know what? I won't spoil the question. Let's go into the categories. What's your favorite? I guess what's your favorite musical moment?
I think it's I really like the "I Need a Hero" montage. Like you said, this movie had a surprising amount of licensed music. It's
going to make the money right back. So
yeah, the Thunderstruck one is really great. But that "I Need a Hero" montage is perfect. It's a great introduction to Mario's new journey. Yep. His Super Mario Odyssey, if you will. So I really like that. And then obviously, I mean, I loved all the remixes of the video game score also.
Yeah. I'll do, so my favorite licensed music moment was Take On Me. Because I'm a simp for the 80s. Yep. So yeah, when they get to the Kong Kingdom and they go on the ultimate ride at your introduction to Mario Kart in this universe, and it's just Take On Me starts playing, it's hilarious. And then my favorite musical moment, it probably will be the superstar moment at the third act. It's good. It's greatness. It's like Mario greatness at its peak. And then I'm going to pick when he first gets in the Mushroom Kingdom. I think that part's great. Because it's the classic Mario score swelled with that wide shot that they do. I think it's pretty good.
With that wide shot.
Was I not supposed to? Oh, crap. I'm doing the film thing.
I liked, as far as like the video game, I liked Bowser playing the Bowser's Castle theme on the piano. The and then
the ones just like...
So, I thought... And then, I mean, the DK rap. Can't forget about the Donkey Kong rap that plays when Donkey Kong shows up. I mean, that was incredible. I wasn't expecting to hear the DK rap. So those were all really, really great. What else you got?
What else?
I don't have these up, so you're going to have to throw them at me.
What's your favorite shot in this movie?
That's a good question. I think I actually really liked the opening sequence of Bowser taking over the Penguin Kingdom. I like the mixture. I like how Bowser's castle, wherever it goes, is just red and smoke just envelops anything it goes through, like it's Galactus. So I just love that juxtaposition of the reds and the blues of the Penguin Kingdom being kind of overtaken by Bowser's castle. I really like that as like an establishing shot of the film. If this is a real thing that I'm saying, that the Mario movie had a great establishing shot, but I really like that. I like that bit. It establishes Bowser as formidable, which I think he needs to be.
Yep. I'm gonna pick mine as I just really enjoy that shot where where the camera turns when they're in Brooklyn trying to get to their first job. I really I just appreciate it. It's perfect. Cheesy video game, give me a feeling of something, and then I'm gonna pick my number one overall pick will be the two of them fist up ready for the final blow on Bowser, like with the music swelling. I'm like, this, I felt something,
I also quite like the flower, Mario and Peach in the flower field.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That was a nice one.
It was nice.
Look at us.
That was great.
All right, so we got that. What is your favorite? I mean, we could just what's your favorite action sequence in this movie?
Oh man, I like the Mario Donkey Kong fight.
Okay, that's a good one. That
was really good. I liked, they fit a little bit of Donkey Kong throwing barrels. There's a little bit of like Super Smash Brothers isms.
Yeah, especially with the stadium itself.
With the stadium, and then when Donkey Kong hits Mario with that big uppercut, and like you hear like the ping, like the Super Smash Brothers like ping sound. So like, and it was a really cool, just animated fight. Like you got to see them both kind of do what they do they do? So I thought that was I like that fight a lot.
It's the Mario Kart sequence. I think it's I personally think it's the best one in the movie. It's like you're to be proud of something. I think that was
Mad Max sequence.
It was just who my second favorite NPC in this movie going. He said, "End of the line, Mario." Like that just set this movie on a whole different strategy.
Speaking of those guys, I love Bowser being like, "Oh, behold my army, the Goombas, the Koopas," and then he's like, "Whatever those things are."
Like,
the little spiked turtle creatures.
It's great. So yeah, I love that whole Mario Kart sequence is great. Like they do the Rainbow Road, they get innovative with what it's fun. It's fun. What's your favorite exposition dump in this movie?
I like Peach explaining to Mario what the power-ups do.
Yeah.
And what they don't do.
Yep.
And, you get hit once and you lose it.
I like that a lot, too. Mine's gonna... it's like, it shouldn't be my favorite, but it's just this idea that Peach is just, like, a 2-year-old that stumbled in this place and is now the princess of this whole thing, of this, like, alien race. Like, I don't know why I think that's hilarious, but...
I also really enjoyed Bowser, like, explaining why he loves Peach. Mm-hmm. He's like, her heart-shaped bangs and her tiara, her irremovable tiara that she can't take off.
That's good. What is your I guess see the conceit of us doing our favorite musical moment is there's a 1A musical moment in here, and that's the Peach song, so we couldn't pick that. It was too easy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite source material callback?
In a movie that was built upon source material callbacks? Man, that's a long list, partner. I just liked the incorporation of all the different, like... Actually, I'll pick one specifically. It's the bit where Peach runs the Mario course and she grabs the flag at the end and it plays like the victory fanfare. That
That's good. That's good. I like that.
And then the side scrolly bit in the beginning of the movie is really good too. But
I'm going to pick. The specific power-ups. I feel like depending on how old you are, you have your Kid Mario thing that you grew up, and the Kid Mario thing I grew up on was Super Mario Galaxy. That's like crazy. So like that was like it was like one of the most played games like that I ever played. Was that I logged so many kid hours in that game. Like it was insane, but. I guess it's just like that game is built upon like you going to different like worlds and trying to, you'd need these different power-ups to do these specific things in that world. Maybe that's why I like Odyssey so much. Maybe it is because of that game.
And I really like the flashback to Baby Mario and Luigi. For anyone who's ever played Yoshi Island, obviously the whole game is you control Yoshi with a Baby Mario strapped to your back. So I love that they kept those goofy baby character designs in the movie. That was cool too.
So we got that. Wow, what's the funniest moment in this movie?
It's the Luma. Anytime the Luma's on screen.
You need to accept the perils of death.
I'm not gonna jump. I will say, for when you ask me what my favorite line is, it's coming from the Luma. Yeah. So
what's your favorite line? Did I say what my favorite?
Your favorite what did you just ask me?
I asked what your favorite
funniest moment.
Yeah, what the funniest moment was. What is the funniest moment for me? Wow, this movie's funny. It's a kids comedy, so obviously it's gonna have some jokes in there.
The penguins are pretty good.
I don't know why I just keep going back to like the general of like the toad of the Mushroom Kingdom just having a super commanding Jeffrey Wright voice like we must evacuate Princess. Like that's hilarious to me. So just him himself is just it's mad funny.
I like the banter between Donkey Kong and Mario.
Oh, I take that back. Just anytime Toad said anything. Oh, okay. The funniest moment in this movie is when Mario's trying to get into the castle, and just all the other Toads are just they're just bumbling idiots of guards. It's hilarious. So, what's your favorite NPC? Because now I know what mine is. It's the first two that they encounter when
the princess is another castle, guys.
Yeah.
Your princess is another castle, Mario.
Yeah. Why don't you get to walk in?
Oh man, I feel, is the Luma too prominent to be an NPC?
There was too much emotional distress for me to handle for it to be an NPC.
I'm gonna say if I can't say the Luma, I'm gonna say the Koopa General, the Mad Max
Koopa General
guy. You can't escape me, Blue Shell. And then he starts spinning.
Diddy Kong's too prominent to be an NPC.
Yeah, he's more.
Oh, I guess we can add new category alert: favorite cameo.
It's got to be Diddy Kong for me, right?
Diddy Kong?
Well, yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting to see him and Dixie there. Mm-hmm. I was just like, whoa, look at this. And then I do like the King Bomb also.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably take. I mean, the Luma is probably my favorite cameo. I was like, what is going on? So we got that. What is your favorite heat check performance?
I really like the Penguin King, man.
This is just but a fraction
of a taste of our fury. I love how he's just a penguin, but he's like regal, kingly guy.
He fits perfectly in Game of Thrones.
Pay him no heed, he says at one point.
It's there's a correct answer, and it's Donkey Kong is the best heat check character in this whole movie.
Yeah, it's fair.
It's just like halfway through the movie, and it's just like prominent character, and I will put my house on the fact that you're gonna give Seth Rogen a Donkey Kong movie in this universe.
DK Donkey Kong. I'm like, oh, yep. Here we go.
Oh my god, he was great. He was great.
I also just going back to like the Toad. This brother's gonna die immediately. Out of the way, please.
I'm just doing that so people get out of the way. What's your favorite line?
Oh man, it's the Luma, man. The Luma, the Luma specifically at the end of the movie. When he comes back to talk to the audience. And he goes, now that's a happy ending. Or is it? Because everything's over now, and all that's left is you and the infinite void. Kind of makes you want to play saxophone, huh?
I'm gonna agree. There's nothing better. There was nothing better in the whole movie. It's the best thing in the entire movie. In an
insane world, it is the sane who are crazy. Who wrote these lines?
Nobody wrote the lines.
Ooh, fresh meat for the grinder, he says at one point in this movie. Time, like hope, is an illusion. What is happening with this character?
Yeah. Insane. And then down to the big three. Favorite moment?
The superstar. Yeah. Mario and Luigi getting the superstar.
If you don't feel anything for that, then you just don't have a heart.
Because, like, you're just waiting for it, right?
Exactly.
As soon as they introduce the superstar, you're like, oh, he's got to get this.
He's getting power-ups throughout the whole movie, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to get the star at the end, and then he does, and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's the Peaches song. Am I allowed to pick that as the best moment in the movie? I was just so uncalled for, which made it even better, but I think what's my favorite part of this movie? Or my favorite scene or moment? I quite enjoy him going into the Mushroom Kingdom. I do quite enjoy that. Like, bit of world building, and then just Toad walking him through, and then him just getting acclimated to the tubes and like the new world. Because that's Mario. Like, that's the whole premise. So I appreciate that. What's your favorite performance?
It's Jack Black as Bowser. Mm-hmm. It's just enveloped himself in the role of
open the gate
of the most faux terrifying person.
So hilarious because this guy wears like a top hat and like he just likes a girl. That's literally it. That's all that he does. It's great.
Yeah.
Mine's probably gonna be Peach. I think she's great. She's like your tough female character that comes in and it's just immediate energy when you meet her. Tough and gets the job done. So it'll be Peach. Good job, Anya Taylor-Joy. You've done the Peach. So now who's gonna play her sister?
I don't know.
Helen Mirren. And who is your favorite character?
It's Mario, man.
Yeah. Sometimes these are more difficult. Sometimes these are easy. And I think this is an easy one.
I think they gave that character a lot of depth that he hasn't really had.
Look at us. Look at us talking about depth in a Mario movie.
In 80 years, 40 years, he hasn't had this much character development or depth. So I liked the direction that they went where, Mario is, to be honest, one of the original heroes.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that he would have this kind of like Superman-esque quality to him where it's like, as long as I'm a breathing, like I'm always gonna fight. Like it's very Superman. It's very prototype. It's very archetype, heroic character, and I think that suits Mario perfectly. It's why he's been a mascot of gaming for as long as he has. The character's transcended generations upon generations of people at this point. This movie couldn't have came at a better time. I mean, that character now is gonna. We talked about this when we talked about Kevin Conroy's Batman. Like the animated Batman has endured this kind of test of time for like 30 years now, and Mario even longer than that. And then this movie is just giving that another platform.
Jeez, it's gonna give it a. You want to talk about second love because it gave it like second like super soldier legs. Like this thing is gonna like it's so rare that a thing hits with a young crowd. Like this thing's gonna be massive with a crowd that doesn't even know Mario yet, and it's just like they already had that. Like they've had that time and time again, and like I'm surprised this movie wasn't made 20 years ago. But time tells all. So. Or does time destroy us all, as the Luma would say?
Yeah, man.
Maybe that's the best character in this movie is the Luma.
We talked about this when we talked about The Last of Us. We mentioned it. Even when we talked about John Wick with the Ghost of Tsushima film, it feels like maybe Hollywood's starting to get it a little bit with these
that it's not too complicated.
It's not too complicated. Don't overthink it. There's good stories and characters already there. If you just adapt the thing, get the right people to do it, it doesn't all have to be one way. I think that's the best way I can put it. I appreciate that we're differentiating now. Like when you compare, like if you put the Uncharted movie and the Tomb Raider movie kind of next to each other, they're kind of samey.
Right.
When they really shouldn't be, even though they're Nathan Drake and Lara Croft are similar archetypes. There's so much more to those characters in games than they should be a little bit more differentiated. But then, The Last of Us TV show, the HBO series, felt very The Last of Us. And then this Mario movie felt very Mario. So, I think the biggest thing I can take away as a massive gamer is it feels like maybe this is the next thing.
Animate these projects?
Animate or just the video game thing becoming like a thing now.
Yeah, this is the new comic book thing is the video game thing.
It feels that way. It feels like
storm's brewing.
It feels like we could be headed in that direction. I mean,
storm's coming, Mr. Wayne.
Obviously The Last of Us was a massive hit. This is tracking to be a monster hit.
Uncharted was popular.
Uncharted, made a lot of money.
Ghost of Tsushima seems like it's
going to be something.
Yeah. And how many games have we not even... I mean, like... How many games have we not even... I mean, Sonic, like, that's a
Sonic
huge
was
one,
great, yeah.
Mortal Kombat was a huge...
It was fun.
It was a fun hit when it came out.
Yeah, so it feels like we're kind of entering that.
Yeah.
I think a few more. We get a few more of these that are highly successful
and have a spectrum of tone. Like you said, like it shouldn't just all either be The Last of Us or all be like have a spectrum of it. Like an Infamous movie shouldn't feel like a Ratchet and Clank movie. Like those should be very different things. Like, but now you can pick what if they want to animate an Infamous show and put it on like Amazon Prime versus like a live action. Who cares? But as long as you do it right and you care, that's the most
I think we're getting.
Thing.
Like I said, I think Hollywood is going to start looking at these video game properties. I mean, we've talked about in news past, Amazon's developing a God of War series.
Who plays God of War? Don't overcomplicate it. Christopher Judge.
Netflix is developing the Horizon series. That's, I think, a prequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. So that's going to be very interesting. there's so many other things. Like, there's so many things that it feels, like I said, it feels like they're starting to get it, and by them starting to get it, makes me feel like they're gonna start really looking at these things as like viable. Where
it's not like a video game where somebody goes in their room and locks the door and it's just like stupid. Like, I mean, The Last of Us, it might be one of the prime like their story. There's like some,
it really feels like that gaming is kind of,
it's losing its like niche, like, or not,
much like,
it's
well,
not,
like comic.
yeah, it's losing its like what's the word I'm looking for?
Sigma.
Yeah, it's gone. Like, it's starting to wash away. Like
it really
there's actually stories in these. Like,
yeah,
you know, the big one, like a big one. I think if they get right, can really help. Like, really nail like it's Red Dead Redemption. Like, they nailed.
Jack Black has officially gone on record and saying that he would love to see Red Dead Redemption adapted.
Yeah, that one would be. I think that one. You get that, like, if you get a bigger director to do something like, I think you might have like an absolute hit on, like, either you do an HBO Max, you know, limited, or you do like a film. Like, I think like we talked about story structures, like Red Dead Redemption. Like, I feel like like, obviously you're gonna do 2 because that's the most famous one, but if you can get a Red Dead Redemption like story and live that, like, people would eat that up, in my opinion. Who doesn't love cowboys?
Who doesn't love cowboys? Eagles.
This guy's a genius.
It you know, the way you frame that just really made me think that my comparison to comic book stuff is even more apropos. Is for the longest time, comic books had that stigma, right?
Yeah, like, you read comic books, you're a nerd.
Yeah, and then boom, Iron Man comes out. Everyone's like,
"Hey, do you know who this is?"
And, you know, yeah.
I'm a god to them.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, it's you know, and then it made me feel so good, like when The Last of Us came out and people were like asking me about it, like, you know this, and like I did the Kratos from God of War 2018. I'm a god, boy. So it feels like, yeah, like The Last of Us kind of blew the door open of like, wait a second, like these video games have stories. Like, yeah, that's why we spend hours upon hours and investing in these things.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
What do you mean Henry ended his life? Yeah, I experienced that before.
And they're fun to play and they're engaging, but I say this all the time when I talk about games that I'm playing, like, the story and the characters are what keep me going.
Yep.
That's why when I was, you know, 10 or 11 years old, like, I fell in love with Final Fantasy VII. Like, I was engaged with the story, even though I didn't understand 50% of it at the time. And that's also the cool thing about games too, is you play them when you're young and maybe you don't fully comprehend what they're even about, but they're fun as hell. And then when you get older, you revisit them and you're like, oh, this is what this is about. I
mean, I'd say that with The Last of Us. Feel like
exactly.
You know, I played a couple parts and I watched my brother play it the first time, and all I'm thinking is it's the scary zombie story. And then I played it last year for the first time, and I was like, I had like the Danny DeVito in the theater piece, like, or the Captain Holt, like, it's just like, this is beautiful. Like, I had a spiritual awakening to that story and that's what it does. I had that same thing. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima came out during at the height of the pandemic. I played that like every day, and I was just like, this is beautiful. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order was another one where I was like, Spider-Man 2018 was if you're talking about something for me, it was Spider-Man 2018. Like, you take one of the most famous characters, period, and you mix it in a video game that you become him. It's everything you'd want.
Yeah. So it's really cool. It's really cool to see the evolution of these things. And I definitely expect more from this Mario universe.
I wonder if they're going to make Spider-Man into a movie from Spider-Man PS4. That'd be cool.
So we talked a bit about this after we saw the movie, but we're definitely doing Mario and Sonic, right?
So should we just run down the line of sequels that this movie's going to get?
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Solo.
Easy.
You're probably going to get a Luigi Solo.
Like a Luigi's Mansion-esque, you know,
yep,
thriller, quote-unquote, animated thriller. Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to get... The culmination's going to be Mario and Sonic.
I would be stunned. I told you, obviously Sonic 3 is already happening. Sonic 2, obviously, the post-credit scene, Shadow is coming. So they're going to do Sonic 3 with Shadow. I imagine they're going to do a Mario and Yoshi story for the next Mario movie. And then I feel like the third Mario movie would be they're going to cross over Mario and Sonic.
Right.
Because that's what they do. It's Mario and Sonic.
Right. That'll be like their Avengers. And then, like, I still think this thing's going to end with the so they're gonna do your Avengers, and then your Infinity War and Endgame, stay with me, is gonna be Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Odyssey, and then your Secret Wars is, you ready? It's gonna be you're gonna do Super Smash Brothers. You're gonna find a way. You're gonna get all the rights right in place. You got years to think about this, and then you do Super Smash Bros. And you do an arena type thing.
Sakurai did it once. He got all these licenses together once for Smash.
Do it again.
I would not be surprised. And like I told you off air, like, you don't need to do like a Smash Ultimate where like there's 100 people in it. Like, you just get the core. Like, you get Mario, you get Sonic, you get Link, you get Donkey Kong, you get Bowser, you get Pikachu, Luigi, Captain Falcon, and then you just put them up against the Master Hand. That's what you do. And then
who should play? You know who should play Master Hand? Will Ferrell, because that's his role now.
Like, this movie's gonna make $1 billion. They have a formula.
The sequels are also gonna make that money. Like, Illumination's just set for life.
Yeah, they're gonna be
what I would give to be the CEO of Illumination right now.
They're gonna be printing money, pretty much, and that's a podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. It's over.
Yeah, they didn't do that the whole movie. They just had a little... They did what Andrew Garfield did in that one scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, whatever. Forget about that. It's whatever. I was like, where was this? It's crazy.
I forgot about that. He did jump into the Brooklyn accent.
But for one scene in like two... He did it like twice. He did it once when it was Spider... I'm swinging it. And then he just, is what... As Peter Parker... It's whatever. I don't like to talk about it.
I forgot about that.
Buddy, what?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's it. I saw Dungeons and Dragons last week.
So it is a real movie.
Yeah, it was a real movie. It was much like this Mario movie. It was a lot of fun.
It's getting critically reviewed pretty well. It's getting commercially reviewed pretty well.
It's a nice, fun... fantasy satire is probably the best way I can explain it. It has it does have a surprising amount of heart. I think that movie doesn't work without Chris Pine. He's at his...
It's probably the case for a couple Chris Pine movies.
He's at his enigmatic best.
This is what he's been working for his whole life.
Yeah, he bounces off Michelle Rodriguez really great. She has, of course, like the standard Michelle Rodriguez action sequences where she's just bodying people, and it's really great. The supporting cast is really good too, and Hugh Grant is really great too. I won't spoil his role in this movie, in that movie, too much, but and there's a surprising cameo that I'm not going to spoil. That's a lot of fun.
Nice, and
it's an actor you would not expect.
Oh, they put Denzel in there.
Nope.
They put Tom Hanks in there.
Nope. You're not going to guess it. Because it's crazy. I was like, wait a minute. How'd that person get here?
Nice.
It's very in the vein of, like, Brad Pitt and Deadpool.
Oh, my God.
When you're like, what are you doing here?
I guarantee it's probably somebody that probably liked Dungeons and Dragons. They're like, of course I'll be in this movie.
I could see it, honestly.
It's Henry Cavill.
No.
Because he's a giant nerd.
But that movie was fun. I really liked it. And the only reason I mentioned fantasy satire is because next week we're going to talk Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because
one podcast to rule them all.
Yeah, because Return of the King...
It's not Joe Rogan's podcast.
Return of the King is getting a theatrical re-release this week, so we'll be spending 4.5 hours in a movie theater.
It's going to be crazy.
To digest that, and we'll come back next week with a film retrospective on one of the greatest movies of all time.
The Hobbit.
Nope. It's not even it's not a hyperbole to say Return of the King is one of the best movies of all time. Best Picture winner.
Yep. I saw it when I read it. How do you know about The Hobbit?
How do you know about Gandalf?
How do you know about Gandalf?
I'm gonna try in the next couple of days to squeeze the other two in.
I don't know how we're gonna do this, but
I don't know if that's gonna happen. I might just watch the Two Towers.
Just so you're ready.
Yeah, because the Fellowship, it's long, it's good, it's amazing, obviously, but it's not a lot happens.
Right, yeah.
It's very like setty-uppy for the other two.
It's a New Hope.
Yeah, it's a New Hope. Exactly. It's the beginning of the hero's journey for Frodo and company. So I'll probably watch the Two Towers, and then
that's what they should have named the movie, Frodo and Co.
Frodo and company. So yeah, I'll watch the Two Towers again, and then Thursday we'll watch Return of the King, and then come back to you next week with a film retrospective on Return of the King, which will be really, really great. I think
it'll be a fun one.
But that's going to do it for us this week. You can follow us on Twitter at ProjectINF_pod. You can follow us on Facebook. New episodes posted every Wednesday or Thursday for the most part. You can follow us on Instagram.
That's a Project Infinite Pod.
Thank you very much. Next week it's going to be Return of the King, and then who knows?
I think after that we're going to maybe, who knows? I know we're going to talk about this Power Rangers movies in the couple weeks.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because Once and Forever comes out next week as well.
Yep.
Comes out next Wednesday.
Yep.
So we'll maybe talk some Power Rangers.
I'm going to try to convince you to talk about the 95. Maybe we just talk about the 95 movie.
You don't need to convince me to talk about the 95. We almost talked about the 95 movie this week or last week. We'll maybe talk about Fallen Order at some point.
Yeah, yep.
With Jedi Survivor coming out, and then
it's ignition point at that point.
Yeah, because
once May hits, it's over. Like once Guardians hits, and we'll probably do. We've already done a Guardians 1, so we'll probably do a Guardians of the MCU just so we can talk about 2.
Yeah,
give us an excuse to talk about the game a little more.
Yeah,
because that game's awesome.
Yeah, and like you said, it's Guardians. It's wrapping up the Mandalorian. It's wrapping up Superman and Lois,
which we will talk about because that show is awesome.
Yeah,
it's just great Superman content.
And then before you know it, it'll be June, and then we're done.
We're never gonna have a life again.
And then we end the podcast. Actually.
Yeah, we're done actually. Yeah, once Mission Impossible comes out.
Yeah.
But, what about Dune? What about Dune 2? We can't skip Dune 2. I'll kill myself. I'll jump off a bridge. Don't do this to me.
Other than that, from me.
You don't have to be.
from the Luigi of the podcast.
I thought you were gonna give me Toad.
Nah. You're tall.
I'll take it.
I almost said the Luma in the podcast because you and the Luma have weirdly similar energies.
Yeah. Very, very, very great voice, but very nihilistic. It's hilarious.
Yeah. The Luigi of the podcast. Luigi's cool.
Not in the first, how long is that movie? An hour 30? Not in the first hour 20 of that movie.
Oh, man. Oh, next week's going to be fun. I got heaps of characters to pick from.
Oh,
Lord of the Rings.
Jesus.
All right, guys.
Somehow I'm going to get Sauron, and I just don't understand.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week for some Lord of the Rings. Can't wait. That's it. Goodbye.
Peace.